Ladies and gentlemen, new studies show that 1 in every 4 adults will stay single for life. 1 in every 4. That's crazy.
Always that one person that will always have your heart. You never see it.
What is up, everyone? My name is C. Welcome to the C Talks channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Chicka C. If you're new, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everybody who's been watching my videos lately. I played you guys that TikTok video at the beginning, and it's funny, but it's a little concerning, no? Apparently, a study came out recently that showed that 1 in 4 American adults are going to be single forever. Forever. That type of forever. First of all, shout out to Daryl Rivera. His TikTok video is the video that I played at the beginning. I found it on TikTok and I found it quite amusing, right? He's clearly very concerned at the fact that he might be single forever. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the circus that is modern dating. Let's talk about the actual study where people are getting their information from. Pew Research analysis of census data found in 2019 that roughly 4 in 10 adults, 38%, ages 25 to 54, were unpartnered. What does unpartnered mean? It means that they're unmarried and they're not living with a partner. This is concerning because that number was 29% in 1990. Now it's 38%. It's almost 4 in 10. What's that number going to be in 10, 15, 20 years? It might be half. Half of people might be unpartnered by 2040, 2050 in the US. It's insane to me, just the culture of singledom that we have in the United States amongst Americans. As a digital nomad and online entrepreneur, I see a lot of older, retired American men and European men traveling in Latin America by themselves. They're single. There's quite a few of them down here, and a lot of them go to different countries to retire, to travel. But it's an interesting sight to see a 60 or 70-year-old man by himself without a partner. This is something that is, I want to say, fairly new. I'm Latino, and my father is 78, and he's married to my mom. They're together. They're married. I've talked about Latino culture and just how we are in my other videos. A lot of my cousins are in their 20s and 30s, and they're married already. I'm single. I'm probably the anomaly at this point, but yeah, who cares? Here we are. Let me go back to my point. It would feel odd to me if my 78-year-old dad was just traveling across Latin America and living there without knowing anybody there, or traveling the world without a care in the world. It would feel odd. He's with my mom every day. They're married. They're a couple. I know where to find them. It's just odd, right? How is it that it's acceptable in certain cultures, or becoming acceptable, for people to just be single and do whatever they want, but we all look at our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, and they aren't that. They're together. They were together. People got married before. People had relationships before. People opted to live together for long periods of time before. Like, what is happening? Is one thing that I ask myself a lot. I think the generation that we are a part of, millennials and maybe the older Gen Xers and Gen Zers, I think we get a lot of individualistic me, I programming across regular media, TV, print media, newspapers, maybe newspapers. I haven't read a newspaper in a while. Chime in, let me know. Social media, definitely. Entertainment, Netflix, movies, all of that. I think individualistic ideology is abound. There's a ton of it, and it's thrown at us a lot. SEX and the City. That was a series about a group of older single women living in New York City. What do you think that did for tons of women who saw it and said, I want that to be me. I want to be an older woman living in the city, dating a bunch of elite men. That's the programming. That's the programming that a lot of women got via the SEX and the City show. it was a top seen show. So I think we get a lot of individualistic programming. I think if you look at television and media now, we see a lot of single protagonists. Go back in time. I remember I got to the United States when I was 4. And what did I watch on Nickelodeon and on television when I was 4, 5, 6, 7? I saw Lassie. I saw The Honeymooners. I saw I Love Lucy. They were all people in families. They were in relationships. They were married. They were all these other things. Now go watch television. What are you going to see? You're going to see a bunch of single protagonists in a majority of the shows. There's a lot of programming that's happening in society that I think people aren't really aware of, and they aren't cognizant of it because a lot of people don't want to self-reflect. Let's keep talking about social programming. It benefits a capitalistic society such as the US, to have a large population of single people. I've talked about this in my previous videos. A person who is single spends more than a person who is in a relationship. If you are single, you do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to eat ice cream at 5 a.m., go ahead. I did that last night, and that ice cream was good. Just kidding. A person who is in a relationship or married has to be more financially responsible. They probably have a house, a mortgage, a car note, etc., etc. They need to be more cognizant and responsible of how they spend their money. A person who is single can do whatever they want with their money. So if we live in a capitalistic society that just wants to sell us crap, it benefits the society to have a bunch of single people. I think we're hitting the point where it just doesn't make sense for the US to have a ton of single people composing its population. I think we have to try to get people back to where they were before. It benefits society. It benefits the world. It does not benefit a nation to have a bunch of single people. Let's continue talking about how people behave when they're married or part of a couple versus when they're by themselves. Me, as a first-generation immigrant, I grew up in the US in New York. I saw my parents work together, put their money together, and put their resources together to get things done. They couldn't just do whatever they wanted with their money. That's what people do when they're in relationships with someone. They work together when they're married, etc., or maybe even when they're dating. That's how it should be. I think with all this modern programming, people think that they can do whatever they want, even when they're in a relationship with somebody. I don't agree with that. I remember what I saw from my parents, and I also know how my grandparents were. My grandparents dedicated both of their lives, my grandfather to working and being a farmer, and my grandmother to raising 13 kids in a third world country. And they didn't spend their entire life traveling, going on vacations, doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. They worked and they had duty and responsibility. And I really respect that and admire that now, because that's almost nowhere to be found in the United States right now. Everybody's just doing whatever they want, whenever they want. There's no union. There's no two people meeting. Let's get together. Let's try to make things work. Let's try to push forward and create a better future for the both of us. No, that's something that's not really seen at the moment. And it's concerning to me because as a first generation immigrant, I'm concerned about my future in the US when I'm older. Will I be able to retire? Who's going to compose the United States population in 40 or 50 years? Is it going to be a bunch of immigrants and people that we just let across the border and give a bunch of free things to? This is all concerning. This is another interesting stat that I saw from that Pew study. Unpartnered adults generally have different and often worse outcomes than those who are married or living together. And it makes sense. 2 incomes people are better than 1. It takes 2. Like the song goes, we need to get past all of the social programming that we've been fed as a generation and look at the fact that we need each other, men and women. We need each other to survive, to prosper, and to get ahead, and to proliferate the next generation of men and women. Because if we just decide to be single forever, what's going to become of the human race? Are we just going to let it die out and become extinct? Species become extinct, y'all. That's also another thing to consider and think about. We're part of the human species. Is this the beginning of the end? Dun dun dun. All right, so that was food for thought for you guys. 1 in 4 Americans, by the looks of it, are going to be single forever. Will I be one of them? Only time will tell. Or will you be one of them? Only time will tell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is C. Appreciate you all watching. If you liked this video, you'll also like this other video up on the screen. I'll be back with more videos soon. Peace.